Oi, nii. Hello, fine people. Such lovely, friendly faces here. So please forgive me if I mess something up. I will keep growing and being better. I'm Triin, and right now the main thing I do is grow a startup called Grünfin. And I've been around in Estonian startup scene for over 20 years. So it was a time when Tallinn had Skype and Tartu had Playtech only, and all the rest of us were somewhere in telecoms and banks and places like that. So we really want to do something with our company that makes us bigger than ourselves. But how I got there is a long story because, as I said, it took 20 years. I'm also an active angel investor, so I've done 7 deals this year, and I'm also really, really happy when I can support female founders or sustainability initiatives. This is my daughter. She's 7 years old here, and she's just thinking about which black, steep route to take down this hill. And as I was there with her, I knew that she fell down several times, and she really didn't know what will happen to her, but eventually she came back and tried again. So that's what we all should do. I've been told many times that I'm lucky, and I agree. I'm really lucky to have an interesting career, been able to be with Skype and Wise from very early days, and I've been able to give back to startups as investor and advisor. But I want to say that luck in itself, it doesn't often revert into something tangible. When you get the opportunity to join a great team or take a new challenge, it's always come down to the question, are you ready and do you dare? It's really difficult to influence some lucky chances, but it's always under your control to be ready and to be mentally there when those happen. This is why I truly believe that luck is when chance meets preparation and hard work. So you're always open. This doesn't work? Okay. So first of all, I believe that everybody is really, really unique in their abilities and their strengths. And to maximize your own success, I hope that you start your life as a young person with picking the really, really difficult thing that you are able to do. So the hardest subject in the school, the hardest university you can get into, and make the most of your studies. You can later always add some soft skills and hobbies and such things, but it's really totally fine if you're into programming and ballet dancing or into mathematics and yoga. You can do both of them, or you can do much more, but it's just about how you spend your time or when you focus on these things. So being in the same room with smart people, it's probably the most impactful thing that you can do in your career and life. And the beauty with excellent teams is that usually they focus on big goals, they work hard, and they move fast. And they don't have time for drama or politics, or they don't even care how good you are in the first place. So just please learn from them. This is me with Toivo Annus, a founder of Skype. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing there. But I kind of look like quite all right. And I learned so much from them. So I like to say that everything is contagious. So knowledge, skills, experiences, life hacks, and even money is contagious. I've never in any of my jobs known exactly what I'm doing or what I have to do next day. But I figured it out, and this has pushed my limits really far. this is the board of early Skype office, where you can see how they were worried about internet telephone and things like that. So, next thing, you have to learn all the time and keep on growing with them. Like most Estonians, I'm pretty self-critical and sarcastic, and I'm not overly optimistic about things. But I believe that the fastest route through the city is always from one red light to another. So if you stay and wait for every one of them turn green, you can never go through the city. One good friend told me that if it's a bad day, you just have to start with something really simple. You have to make your bed, drink a glass of water, answer that first email, and things will get rolling, and it will be better. But every day is not good, definitely. And then just repeat. If you feel that there's nothing more to learn, that you've done your job, it's getting to some place where you don't want to be anymore, it's time to take another chance and keep going. But be sure that the chance you're taking is also awesome. At one point, 5 years ago, I was in a place where I really, really had to reinvent myself. I was totally exhausted. I had come a long way. I was financially in a very good place, but not mentally. I did the great stuff. I've worked, I've built stuff, I've met some incredible people. But I just want to say that too much passion and love for your work can hurt you if you don't take care of yourself. So if you feel that this kind of pauses come into your life, just embrace them, if possible. And if possible, you should embrace them every time before you make another big move. And as I said, start with small things when you have a bad day. But if you have a bad week, if you have a bad month or a year, how to go forward from there. But then you'd simply have more time to do great stuff. So I started to fulfill my dreams, so I renovated my grandparents' house. I started training for marathon, ran it. I took a cat. I went to painting class. And eventually, it started feeling great. And I started to think about the wider picture and next steps again. How can I use my knowledge, my skills, and my experiences so that it doesn't help only myself, but it would be great for many people, maybe hundreds or thousands? How can I use my previous life to take this bigger step? So luckily I met Karin, who is my co-founder in Grünfin. And as I like to introduce her, that she's a recovering banker who has turned good. And we started talking, and what we thought about is we both know that money has great power in the world. And how can we combine our skills to make sure that more money flows into right place and more money works toward a better future? So we started Grünfin. Of course, we didn't have that money ourselves, but there is 10 trillion euros in European bank accounts, private bank accounts only. So can we capture some of it and save it from inflation and make it work for our world? And we wanted to start inviting more people to join us and combine our skills in fintech banking, tech, and have this kind of mission-driven company that combines investing, doing good, and for the better future. So this company really makes me feel that I'm part of something bigger than myself, because I can always, do my own life choices in a really good way, but this doesn't help too many others. So there is 2 thoughts that I want to share with you or leave with you today. So one of them is you should embrace the chances, but prepare for them as well. Because when they come in a very, very inconvenient times. And this is really important that you take them and continue your journey. And the second thing is drive more impact in your life. So what is this uniqueness you have that you can use for impacting as much people as possible for the better? So however rich or famous or amazing or important you are, there is no way to feel fulfilled when you don't help others or don't use your skills in this impactful way. Thank you.
Triin, thank you. So you started out back at Skype back in the day.
Yes.
Okay, how were those feelings back then? How was because that was some crazy growth. How do you look at the growth that Skype went then and compare it to, I don't know, the scene today?
It was a real Wild West.
I bet. So, especially back then, right?
Yeah.
What year were we talking about here?
Sorry?
What year was sort of Skype really
2005.
kind of blowing? 2005. Okay.
So it was before the eBay joined us.
Yeah, okay. So when Skype was still independent company.
It was very early days, It's always to think about when startups do some exit, it's normally they are much more mature phase, but Skype was quite in a very early stage still at that time.
Okay, so it was growth,
Yes.
and then exit to eBay.
Yes.
Okay. How do you think did that change drastically the corporate culture then? Like, was it still growth after that, or were the new owners had different culture values?
It definitely became so much different because it started to pursue this route of corporate, and we had to implement all these procedures and everything. So I remember I put my Skype name behind it. It was you could put a comment there. I put I miss you, Toivo. Toivo was on the one slide. So he was my boss, and he really actually left after acquisition, and I so much missed him. Even he was the hardest person to be in the room, but he was also the smartest one.
Okay, that's so interesting. Those times of that fanatic growth, that crazy growth, but then things settle down. So have a think about. I mean, growth can mean different things. It can be crazy growth for a startup, or there was still growth happening at Skype then, but in different directions, in different ways.
Growth was, of course, there, and it continued several years, but it was never, didn't really feel like a startup anymore eventually. So because there was several new CEOs coming, so I think there was 8 CEOs in 5 years. So everybody was like, I'm so excited, I'm going to make some changes. So it was only adapting with those.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And they were coming from outside the company, not necessarily being promoted internally, or a bit of both?
They were coming outside.
Outside,
mostly.
okay,
Yeah.
that does the culture change. All right, we're out of time. Triin, thank you very much for your time today. One more round of applause for Triin Hertmann.